question, let me repeat it so if I can hear. The question was about teachers, retired teachers, and
increase in pay.
Increase in pay, that they haven't had one since 01, I think you said. So if you would like to start with Bob.
Sure. We do not, on the state board, have any input or say in regard to the TRS, Teacher Retirement System, and how that is done. Senator Duncan, who chairs the State Affairs Committee, that's where TRS falls under. I do know at one point, I guess they did a 13th month check, but that's been some time ago that they did that. I agree that there needs to be an increase for the teachers, and I hope they can do it. That, unfortunately, we have no control, the state board doesn't, it's a pure legislative function. I will tell you that from what I'm hearing currently from the senators and everyone, we're looking at anywhere from a 12, well, some people say 10, but I think it's probably closer to 12 to $15 billion shortfall for the new legislative session. So I'm not sure how much new income there's going to be generated, but I understand your situation. My wife's a teacher. I've got a daughter and a sister that are teachers, and I think it's important that we take care of them, but you probably need to visit with Senator Duncan through the State Affairs Committee.
Number one, I want to thank you for asking that question because we finally found something that Bob and I agree on. My mother taught for 37 years. My wife's been an educator for 30 plus years, and I don't know how you would ever pay teachers. I really don't. We don't have anything to do with that on the state board. When I was on the school board, I mean, we were able to cut the tax rate 2 years in a row and still get teacher raises. And a lot of that does come from local funding. I mean, some of it comes from the state, and it's a local concern. I've never heard of a school district that hadn't given teachers a raise for a while because they usually try to be competitive across other districts, because I guarantee you that's something that always concerned me when I was on the board, was that I was going to lose some of our good teachers in other districts. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, we had districts that were our size fairly close. So we not only tried to pay them as much as we could, but we made sure we stayed in that competitive market, and I think that's a good thing. I think you do need to give teachers a raise and support that. So. But like Bob said, there's not anything the state board can do. It's a local state issue.
The question is, what percent of the Republican Party platform do you agree with? And you're asking all of them? Okay. We'll just start here with Jack if we want to do that. Go down if that's okay.
Well, the 10 principles are the basic culmination of the party that Texas advised. I agree 100%. And that's basically limited government, the upholding traditional family values, protecting innocent life. It's doing away with judicial activism when they legislate from the bench. Those are all basic elements of those 10 principles that I agree with 100%.
I agree with the basic core principles of the platform.
Randy?
I've read it. I can't quote it, but I've read it. I can't think of anything I don't agree with. That's why I'm a Republican, and if they change it to a point where I don't agree with something, I'll become whatever that something else is. But I keep up with what they do. I was on the rules committee here a couple of years back, where we changed a few of the rules, and we met till 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a little tough. We had some real good help on that stuff, but I think I can't think of anything I don't agree with.
This is for the county chairman's race. It's as we see the current situation, there's going to be lots of political fights coming up in the next 2 or 3 years. The Republican Party, whether it be local here, state, or national, is going to need some money. What can we do here to make sure we have a war chest to not only support our local candidates, but also assist with other candidates across the state and country?
You take your hat off and pass it around. Start on the back row. Let's work it like a good church.
It's a very good question, Kyle, because we have to use, I think what we saw in the last presidential election is we have to consider the small increments, what an individual can give, instead of always focusing on, and I mean, after what the Supreme Court just, made their decision, we're all focused on the large corporate donors. When you look at, the financial, campaign finance reforms that we have, I still tell you that the power of a dollar in the hand of an individual not only gets you an investment, it gets you a vote. If somebody will give you $1, they're on board. And what Barack Obama showed, what Howard Dean, the Democratic Party has shown, is that the people, if you ask them, not for $1,000, but if you just say, hey, will you get on board for $1, $10, we've got to get out there and invite people to participate financially. How many people in this room wouldn't give $10 a month to the Republican Party if it's going to be used? And this is the other piece of that process. At the grassroots meeting at the county level, you can follow how that money is being used. What we saw recently with the GOP and the NRC, RNC, NRCC, and NRSC is that the Huffman campaign, it's like, well, who chose to back the other guy? With the Scott Brown campaign, they were there in the last week, but why weren't they there 3 months right when he started? So I tell you, your money given to the party locally with your involvement. I'm tired of watching people write checks and go here, and then find out later they didn't vote, and they didn't stay engaged. We need people to be engaged. This is a membership. If you vote in the Republican primary, you're a member. Give some money to that cause. That would be my message.
Yes. Well, that's one of my concerns. We went into a very hot election year in 2010 with a very small war chest. We ended up from June to July as a party with only $500 carryover last year. We basically had $3,500 at the end of this year. We have really got to increase that. And one thing that you do is kind of like running retail business. Unless you have a good product and a good service, people don't come buy from you. And I think that's part of the thing we got to look at. What we're doing with the precinct chairs, what we're doing inside those precincts, the amount of people we're getting involved. Our website, if you go to our website, many county websites have a place where you can automatically donate small increments, $5, $10, $25 off the website. You can't do that at our website. We've got to fix that and get involved. If we get neighborhood captains inside of our precincts, if we fill the majority of our precinct chairs, we automatically get more involvement from those families, those people that are involved, and that's exactly what we need to look for. We certainly need those corporate donors and the bigger donors that have been very generous to the party over the years, but we've got to have people that are involved at the $10 level, the $15, $20 level, as Chris mentioned. And that's one thing that we have to go over, is develop a product that people have confidence in, that they're willing to help support. And we've got to build a war chest that not only helps fund our conservative candidates here in the county, but allows us to go outside the county to a Steve Pierce race in New Mexico, give them money and help so that they can help get him elected over there, that gives Randy Nagelmeyer support in Congress for the conservative values and ideas that should be happening up there. That's how we can get involved. We've also got to do things. Denton County just had a fundraiser with Dick Morris. We're a big enough county that we should be able to equal Denton County in doing some of those things, getting that kind of involvement. And those are the kind of things that we need to do locally, get people excited about the party, to help so that they're willing to donate, to give us a war chest so that we can uplift conservative values, not only locally, but in the state and at the national level.